Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, I want to talk about some of the things that I think will help you succeed on YouTube if that's something that you're up to. And in fact, this will probably work in any social media platform. But I'm just going to sort of talk about it in some of the in the context of the failures and successes that I've had on YouTube, as small as they are. I've talked about this before, and you'll probably hear this from a lot of people on YouTube. It's gonna take some time, and that's lesson number one. You have to realize that this stuff isn't gonna come super fast. But what I mean by super fast is tons of subscribers, tons of comments, viewership going up. A lot of people are sort of refocusing on their YouTube channel these days, but they're also looking at, I can't monetize my YouTube channel because I don't meet the specific threshold. And again, I've talked about this in another video. You really can't focus on that, and you really can't expect it, like everything else, to just take off within days or weeks. It's going to take some time, depending on what kind of content that you're putting out. Creating video, especially engaging video on YouTube, it's like everything else in the sense of your email newsletter, your blog posting, and maybe you're just sort of, run-of-the-mill social network marketing that you might be doing. It's a task, right? Sometimes you have to go to the grindstone and really pump out videos. This video, in fact, I'm doing it at the end of the day. It's already past 5 o'clock. It's usually my cutoff point to when I'm actually going to create more content. And I just needed to get out there. I'm sort of trying to get a video out every day this week just to see where my analytics go and see if the engagement goes up a bit. And this is sort of one of the things where it's like, I didn't really have a script for it. I'm really just sort of flying this stuff out there and see if it sticks. But it's really going to be something that is hard work. You got to get it done. But I think what happens is you sort of reap the benefits in the long term. Sort of tip number 3 or success point number 3, whatever this might be. I really like to have things set up as proper as I can get them. A key point in this is I used to use my podcasting mic, and I used to have it here, and it used to be in the way, and I talk with my hands a lot, and it was always just something that was very cumbersome. Great mic, expensive mic, and the audio sounded amazing, but it was always just in the way, and I never was never really happy having it in the frame of the video shot. And then I invested in this Rode NTG2 boom microphone. The lighting, I used to use just sort of the LED lamps that you go and buy at Home Depot, and I would set those up, and I would always sort of open up my blinds and make sure that I was filming during the day. And while I'm still not ever happy with the light, I spent a couple $100 on some LED lights, and they're pretty good for the money. They're certainly way better than using cheapo lights and always just waiting for the sun to be perfect. But the point is, for me anyway, and this might be for you, is I like to have things in place to really feel comfortable doing this stuff. And what'll happen is if you're finding yourself in a cadence and you're really moving things along and your content marketing is really churning away there, you find that you don't want things to get in the way. You don't want to be annoyed by these little things. What to some people might say, like, that's it. That's the problem that you have. You have this microphone on the desk. So what? It just gets in the way of more efficient production. And this goes all the way to the top. This starts with the idea, scripting the idea, bullet pointing the idea, framing the idea, all the way down to video editing, how you bring on files onto your computer, how you store them, how you sort them, and then uploading to YouTube. It's a huge process. If you're doing it once a week, probably not bad. If you start trying to do it every single day and you just have limited amounts of time to pump this stuff out, you want to be as efficient as possible because it takes out the stress, which ultimately makes the content better. Now, I didn't script any of this stuff today like I normally do. I don't script it. I just at least bullet point some of it. Didn't do anything like that for this next one. So you're not going to see it. There's going to be some pauses in between this as I think of new points to bring up here. But I'm going to get through it because I'm trying to get this done every single day this week. Tip number 4 in this whole YouTube thing is you really can't look at your competitors. If you're trying to be like another channel or you want to sort of aspire to be like somebody else, you just got to throw out the envy, the desire to be just like them. I mean, I know a lot of people sort of say this all the time. And I know I'm guilty of this of myself. I see other channels, like, I can make that way better. I'm much more engaging than that person. Why are people always subscribing to that person? And why do they have so many comments? You sort of get down on yourself. For me, it's just reassuring myself or reaffirming to myself that, look, you're not them. You know, they're moving in a different direction than what you are. You're creating content differently than they are. Maybe they have more experience. Maybe they had another audience before this, and you know, it sort of brought them over to YouTube. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what the circumstances are for that person, and you don't know where they really want to go with it. I was on a podcast interview today with my friend Chris Badgett, and we talked about this. And there are a lot of people out there, you might be one of them, you're really good at creating workflows and blueprints and content maps and content calendars, and you know down to the T of what you're going to write about or what you're going to talk about for months to come. That just doesn't work with me. I work in random pockets of time like today, and I only really create content of sort of what my experiences are and what's on my mind. I don't sort of venture out into anything that's, I don't have a plan to say, like, I'm going to write about this subject, 4 blog posts, 4 videos, 3 podcasts, and, you know, a dozen social media links. Some people are really good at that. They're talking about a topic that they can research and write great content about, but that doesn't inspire me. Sometimes it does, but right now it doesn't. And with YouTube, I'm really just trying to go with things that are experiences, things that happen to me during a typical work day that I go, you know what? That would be great to talk about on camera. Today's episode is just that, because I was talking to my friend Chris today about all of this stuff. And it's not about having a detailed plan all the time. And it works out fairly well for me. The idea is, don't try to copy everybody else just because you like what they're doing or how many comments they have or how many views they have. Do you. Create content the way you want to create it and put your blinders on. Don't worry about everybody else. And tip number 5, for me, it's always about experimenting, trying new things. I'm constantly trying new things with my camera setup, my lighting setup in my studio. Right now, you're watching a different angle, which I haven't done in quite some time. Always trying to find out what the best thing is for me for the video production side of my YouTube channel. Again, that comes from the placement of the phone, of the microphone, of the camera, and the lighting. Sometimes I'm mixing it up with the daytime light coming in. But again, it's a particular challenge. I talked about this in another video. I work in a small space, so I'm always trying to find different angles so it's not the same old talking head view. But it also challenges me to do things differently with editing and lighting, color correction, and things like that. But you know, and the types of content as well. Like, I think this stuff is much more personable. It's not as refined. It's pretty rigid. It's shorter. It's not a particular lesson. But sometimes I like to go on sort of long rants or long drawn out lessons where I'll have transition slides and there'll be some points in there. And, you know, it all really depends. For me, this is like this is my way of being a true artist where content is getting created solely out of what inspires me. And I've always told my artist friends that I'm not a true artist, but as I've been doing YouTube, as unglamorous, is that a thing? As unglamorous as this channel is, it's sort of my way of expressing creativity and art through this, you know, minuscule video production thing that I have going on here. But you know, the idea is you have to feel inspired to do this stuff, and you always have to be trying new things, or you're going to get burned out from it, at least in my experience. Again, people who are really good at mapping things out and sticking to this sort of, you know, rigid plan, it's great, it works, but then after a while you get tired of it, your audience probably gets tired of it. So always be experimenting and trying this stuff out. I always reference a bunch of people, you know, other internet marketers that I follow and people that you should subscribe to. One guy that I follow is Roberto Blake. I've mentioned him before. He does a pretty good job with teaching you the ins and outs, the real geeky details of YouTube. So check his channel out. I'll link him up below. I think he does a really good job at it. You know, he used to do a lot of tutorials, but I've seen him take a step back and sort of start to just focus on, you know, the general, hey, here's how you get started with YouTube. If that's something that you're interested in, you can watch some of the videos that I produce. You can watch some of the videos that he produces. Who do you follow on YouTube? Are you really trying to make a concerted effort to win on YouTube, or at least get yourself out there? I'd love to hear it. Go ahead and leave a comment below. Chime in with other folks who are, you know, saying the same thing. What can you help them with? If you have a channel and you want to post it below, let's take a look at it and see what's happening in your world. I'd love to hear it. It's mattreport.com, mattreport.com/subscribe to join the mailing list. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Like this video if you liked it. Thumbs down if you didn't. I mean, that's all right. It's okay with me if you didn't like this video. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when the next video goes out. We'll see you in the next episode.